right. Time for a very awkward review. This is the Transformers Titans Return Titan class Trypticon, along with Necro and Full Tilt. As you can see, he is very large. He doesn't actually fit in the full frame of my camera. I am in a very awkward filming position. I'm on the floor. But yeah, you can see this entire thing. This is his base mode right here, including his full gun towers and the full ramp that goes all the way down to right to the base of the tripod. There is a lot here with this guy. So yeah, it is Trypticon. He's the big new Mama Jamma, I guess, as some people call it. Of course, he comes in this gigantic box right here. You can see that. 3 different modes, all of the names and all that stuff. A kind of crazy artwork, Transformers, all that stuff, age things. On the side, you got more Trypticon artwork, which is very difficult to see because of just, again, this is a very large thing. But yeah, you can kind of see that. There's more Trypticon artwork there. There's the bio and stuff there. Can't really read it. Yeah, and then on the back you got all the, different modes and the little figures and all the ways it's compatible with all the other figures and all that stuff, including other figures you can buy and all sorts of crazy things about this guy. 15 steps, all 12 steps, 1 step, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. Big box. In fact, but the thing is, Trypticon is so big, he actually comes in pieces in the box. And in the box as well, you have this very reflective sticker sheet. I have not applied the stickers yet. I will get around to that. I haven't done it yet myself, but there they are. There's instructions, which, fold out, show you the 3 modes, and how to apply the stickers, thankfully. Hopefully there are not any misprints or anything. And, of course, his bio card, which, Trypticon, and his stats, which are very large, because, it's 3 different dudes who combine together. Yeah, this is his base mode. Like I said, very big. And, well, one of the dudes right here, his name is Full Tilt. The big one is Full Tilt. The headmaster is called Necro. There's actually a car there. It's actually attached in this little clip thing, and you kind of have to pull it off this base, and there you go. You can then get that out of the way. There's Full Tilt. Yep, Full Tilt, very, very purple. See, it's kind of an armored car thing inside. There's Necro. It's kind of the shadows, there you go. Shadow, but there he is. It's very, very purple. It's kind of sea purple. I like purple, but not a lot of detail on this guy. I looked, and apparently even with the stickers, there's not a whole lot you attach to this one. Yeah, you got the center ramp, so you can just kind of roll him down the ramp. Goes flying. And you got more ramps over here. These aren't as nice. You got his big old gun pods, which you can, adjust how you want. You can tilt them forward if you want to. Or towers, whatever you want to call them. On the sides here, you got the attachments on each side for other bases, the leader class bases, and I guess just kind of general ramps / landing pads, all that stuff. So yeah, big dude. Yeah, getting back to the smaller ones, I'll kind of transform these guys real quick on camera, hopefully. My lighting setup, again, not super ideal, but it's what I got to work with, and so just kind of work with me here. I am so sorry. But yeah, to transform this guy, first thing you got to do is pull the Titan Master out. And we'll get a look at him real quick. It's little Necro. Yep, little dude, very purple, black, details kind of washed out, but yeah, it's just pretty much purple. And of course, transforms is easy, just kind of fold him up. Got a red visor at least, so there's that. Yeah, get back to Full Tilt though. We gotta pull the gun off now, and at the front, you gotta unclip this. I'm going to try to get the lighting to be a little bit better, but again, work with me here. Right, that's the best I can probably do. Anyway, you got to unclip those front things and then open up the panels on the side here. And then unfurl the front. Then you got legs, and on the back here, you close these panels back up to the flat, close those gaps up. And you take this center thing right here and move it up, covers that screw hole, makes this crotch plate. Take the arms and pull them off the ball socket. Notice that's the thing that happens on mine sometimes. Pull them down like that. Take the fists. They pull out from the sides. Take this this assembly up here and just kind of fold it back. It kind of has a little notch here for it to go on, so you can't fold it all the way back, but there you go. And you take Necro, and of course pop them on. And on mine, this one is particularly difficult to pop in and out. I don't know why, but it took a couple tries to get him to actually pop in properly. So you got that, and you put his gun in his hand, and there you go. You got full tilt. You can stand. Oddly enough, he doesn't have the A stance molding on his feet. He has flat feet, oddly enough. I don't know why. But yeah, it's full flat stance instead of an A stance molding. It's kind of weird. What are you going to do about it, really? So yeah, you can just stand on the top of the base. To articulation though, we're gonna get close up again. Yeah, like I said, this is really awkward. I'm just trying my best, but articulation, you got the typical Titan Master head, so kind of ball joint. Got a little bit of wiggle, mostly left and right though. Up and down is a little bit, but not a whole lot. Arms are on big ball joints, as you saw that one pop off earlier. So forward, back, outward. It's also on a little stock, so your outward's kind of bumping his head, but and you can kind of adjust and up and the shoulder up and down as you need to. And you also got a little bit of forward, and you get butterfly, a little bit of butterfly there. You also got the bicep, spins pretty nicely, just a nice mushroom peg. Elbows are on just pinned in there, about 90 degrees. Good to go. And the fists don't do anything, except I guess you can kind of click them in a little bit, but that's not really helpful to anything. There is no waist, unfortunately. It's kind of becoming a typical problem with this line. There's no waist articulation. Hips, though. Forward. Back. Outward. There's a thigh swivel. So lots of range there. Knees can go about 90 degrees. If you untransform it, you can go even further, but then you have to transform it. There is no ankle tilt. And again, flat foot instead of A stance. Not sure why on that. Yeah, the biggest problem with him, and I noticed, again, stickers aren't going to help much. I think you put like 3 stickers on him at most. He's just a sea of purple. I like purple, but there's so much purple here. There's like little detail except for the red and silver. That's about it. I mean, everything else is just purple, and I guess black for the wheels and the gun. But there's just so much... it's just so much purple, like all the detail in the molding is lost. It's just a blah purple. So it's kind of just unfortunate in my opinion. But he's deluxe sized-ish. I think he's slightly taller than most deluxes. But yeah, he's still it's just unpainted, mostly unpainted purple, and it's just kind of unfortunate. It's just there's no detail, or there's no painted detail. So unfortunately, so it's just kind of, that's kind of stinks. Again, like purple, but I'd like detail, please. And the stickers, there's only like 3 you put on here, and most of them aren't really on the robot mode. They're for the car mode, so that's a bit of a disappointment. So I guess that's that for him. Yeah, in just a second, I'll take this guy off camera, transform him back, and we'll get this base mode into the spaceship mode, I guess. All right. Oop. Knock the camera. Why don't I? Yep. Awkward setup. But anyway. So we're going to get this guy to his spaceship mode. Yeah, so I'm going to full tilt off to the side for now and get this guy to try to get this guy to spaceship mode without screwing things up too much. So again, focus is going to be weird, and so first things first, these legs, or these bits right here, you're going to want to take this flap and move that down. Same with this side right here. These parts can be a little tricky to mess with, but you just got to get it refolded back to its proper size, and I'm trying to get that all on camera, and I hope I can. But yeah, the leg actually splits in half for this mode, and you get these pegs right here lined up, and they're very large pegs, and my arm's probably mostly in the way. You got to get them more or less lined up, and then from there you got to also fold this ramp up right here. Fold that up, and then right here, this little tab right here, there's a little slot on the side. You got to line those up and plug it in. And then you fold up here, you fold this wing out. Boom. That's one side done. Now for the next side, same thing. Got to fold this up. Oh, before you do that though, you should probably, fold the ramp up, because otherwise it's going to disconnect itself. So I'm going to fold that ramp up, but lift this whole thing up and get this leg reattached or reconnected to itself, which can be a little bit of a pain to line up the pegs properly, because you have to do it just right, or else they don't want to go into it. There, okay. And then the leg, it has to be folded just right again, so it can plug into the side. You fold this wing out, and you got that done. Now this part right here, this purple part, you just fold down. The car would go here as well, but need the car out for something else, but the car would go there. Take these and collapse them down, clicks into place, and then point them forward. You're almost done at this point. There's one more thing you got to do. Down here, this ramp, fold that up and spray up a whole bunch of dirt. You can tell I am having trouble. Then you can put these guns forward, and yeah, you got pretty much now, you have the spaceship mode. And again, it's still very large. I just knocked something loose. I don't know what I locked loose, but I knocked something loose. Still very large. Nice thing though, it's got wheels. Wheels there, wheels there. Very large. You can see kind of a face in there in the front. So also you probably notice this is all clear. And you can also see there's a little bit of a gap there for, I guess, stuff to go in, like Titan Masters. And there are Titan Master pegs everywhere. They're like here and here, here. I think there's some, yeah, there's some on the guns. There's some on this, these side things. There's one right here. There and there. There's a lot. The other cool thing is this front part right here. This can actually open. If I can get in there. There we go. Yeah, see that opens and lifts up. And you got a little spot for the car going. Put the car in there. You're good to go. Kind of neat. I mean, that is pretty neat. So, yeah, it's a spaceship mode. It's a pretty neat one. You can roll around. I mean, the wheels are there just so you know, roll it. So you know to roll it and not, try to fly it. Because, most little kids are going to try to fly it and then hurt themselves. Yeah, it's still very big. And it didn't take a whole lot to get to there, but it still looks nice. Overall, it's just got a cool shape. And this way, it's actually kind of compact comparatively. Which is, again, pretty nice. And again, the car can attach here. It's supposed to plug in a little bit better, but on mine it doesn't really like to plug in super well. I mean, it kind of bounces back up. So that's a little unfortunate. You got a dinosaur head just kind of, you know, chilling back there, but let's pretend that isn't there, okay? Okay. But anyway, yeah, this is both these modes, both this mode and the base mode / city mode, those both actually look really good, and I think, you know, they really look really cool if you have a whole bunch of Titan Masters on them and just kind of other bases attached to them. And it looks cool and everything on these modes. That's for sure. These two modes are actually pretty solid. They stay together pretty solidly. I mean, this one in particular, this city mode, you pick it up, the sides are going to fall down a little bit, but this actually pretty solid for the most part. I shook it a little loose, but yeah, it's actually, those are pretty solid tabs. You can pick it up like this and it'll hold together as long as you don't shake it too much. Alright, now we got to get to its final mode. It's Dinosaur mode. You know, the one that people really love. So, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and pull that car back out of here. Close that back up. And reattach him to this thing right here. Which is actually, that whole purple piece right there is removable. I'll get to that in a bit, but for now, I'm going to try to reattach it and not screw it up, hopefully. Oh yeah, I forgot that part. Whoops, that's why he's not attaching. Got to move that part back up. Okay. There we go. And there we go. Okay, reattached. Now to get him to his dinosaur mode, first thing you want to do is take these little pieces and fold them back up like this. Done? Done. And then next, you want to take these wing pieces on each side and fold them back. You're not going to be able to see the other one, but it's folding. And then detach the legs from their side tabs right here. Detach it. It's actually a pretty solid connection if you do it right. And then you want to take these pieces and fold them up. Give it a good, solid push. Don't be gentle. Don't be super gentle. You're not going to want to be super gentle for reasons. But also make sure the guns aren't in the way. And then, from there, the legs are attached up here. You're going to have to pull them. Again, give it a good bit of force. On an armature, you can see that. Yeah, an armature. And yeah, this thing came off. You're going to want to tab it down here. You also want to probably push this button. It'll help you a little bit. There. And if that came detached, which it probably will, reattach it. Do the same on this side. Take the leg, pull it out, reattach down here. Make sure it's fully in. It's really easy to not have it fully in. All right. Yeah. All right, from here, see this? You move that down. It'll tab in. There's this tab right here and this tab right here. Will go in these slots on this arm, or on this this arm piece. Make sure it kind of want to resist a little bit. Make sure it just kind of goes in there pretty well. Doing the same on this side. If it doesn't fall, I'm gonna get to that in a bit. There's a bit of a problem with this. I'll get to it in a bit. Right. Then take the legs here. Take these legs right here. Move this toe up. And then these little purple pieces, you fold them out like that. And you'll want to also lift it up. Take this tail piece, move it out like that. I mean, he's already pretty stable, and I only got one leg done. Turn him around. Oop, there he goes. Take this leg, do the same thing, feet out. Yeah, all right. Up here, straighten these guns out like this. This head, you'll want to move it down and then spin the whole assembly around. like so. Then you can move the guns down or up or whatever you want to have them in his in dinosaur mode. Any which way, he is not cooperating with me right now, unfortunately. I don't know why. Oh yeah, take these arms, unpeg them, move them how you want. Both sides. Peg them. So, there you go. You got Trypticon in his big dinosaur mode. Yeah, he's too big to fit in frame. Oh yeah, one other thing, of course, almost forgot. Gotta pull that up because his gun's exposed. Yeah, he's very large. He's just plain very large. No way around it. Right. So a couple limitations, unfortunately, but he does have posability. His head can swivel left and right. The thing is you have to get these guns up. They can't be down on the back storage because this whole assembly, there's no dedicated neck. It's this whole thing which swivels. But you can swivel it. His head can look up and down. About that much. It's clicky. His mouth can open, but it opens at the top, not the bottom, so he has to look like that. This gun doesn't move at all, but it's nice painted silver. That's the thing as well. The gray, purple, and teal all work together really well. It's a kind of a darkish gray, which is nice. It's kind of, you can see that, yeah, it's the great, you know, it's nice and broken up. On Trypticon himself, unlike Full Tilt and Necro, you know, it's nice, the colors are nice and break up nicely, and, you know, kind of help with the visual, so you kind of, you know, helps you not just see a sea of one color. Another thing is also there's a bit of orange on his hips and yellow as well. Orange and yellow hip as well, and orange up here on his crown or horn thing, whatever. His arms, they can actually go out pretty far. I mean, it's a full 90 degree, and of course the problem is they sometimes want to untab the platform they're on, but they're there. They can go forward and back. There's an elbow. It's a not quite 90 degrees. The wrist does go up and down as well. And then you also got claws that can open. Both of them can move. So you can have a pretty open claw if you really want to. On that, okay. Obviously there is no waist just because of his design. The tail can move up and down a bit, but it has a tendency to be either in this position, you know, either fully extended like this, or all the way in its other position for the other modes, and which can be helpful if you want him in a more, I guess, slanted forward, more modern dinosaur pose. See if I can move this without killing myself or knocking over the camera. Again, really hard to do this. Alright, so hips can move. They can move forward and back. Notice I'm not having too much of a difficulty. I did the spring modification. I opened those up and cut the springs in half. It's actually really easy because the legs are actually off. In the box is a great tutorial by Quan over on Cybertron.com. I'll post a link to that in the description. And yeah, it's a great tutorial. It helps you a lot because the hips, for most people, are way too strong. The hip ratchets are way too strong and have a tendency to shred the plastic or destroy the plastic inside. So just be aware of that if you get this guy. I'm holding this up because I want a hand. Just trying to get this on camera. Yeah, the hips go forward and back. And here's the thing, even though I cut them, they're noticeably softer, they still hold pretty well for most poses. They also can go outward, one click, and Yeah, they can tilt out one click and another click the other way. So one that way, one that way. The hips, or not hips, the knees. They got one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. And then you get to the feet. No forward and back. The toes can move forward like that though, but they do have tilts. Let's see if I can get this on camera real easily. All right, tilts. 3 clicks. Actually, pretty decent amount. So, yeah. He does have a couple gimmicks. There's no, like, electronics or anything. But he does have a kind of a neat gimmick in that your Titan Masters can be his food. Take those. Take the light, try to get in better position for this. Take the Titan Master, shove it down his gullet. He can eat Titan Masters. And then you can pull them out by opening his chest cavity. And there they are. And there he is. So you just they just go in there. So you can eat a whole bunch of Titan Masters and just kind of do that whole thing. So that's pretty neat. That's a little gimmick he has. Of course, the other gimmick is just he's freaking huge. So, yeah, that's kind of a neat little thing in of itself. He still has some Titan Master ports, I believe, in this mode, but not a whole lot. I'm not sure. I mean, it depends on how you pose it. So there's that. Right, so, yeah. Here's the thing. This guy costs $150. He is a Titan class figure. He is intended to be a full-blown playset base thing. And you might have noticed I was struggling with him, not just because of his size, but there's a couple other things. One, biggest problem is everyone knows the hips. The hips will shred, most people's hips will shred themselves apart, unfortunately. It's a really big problem, and there's very few people who don't have the problem. And a lot of them who don't have the problem are just people who decide, I'm not going to move them, ever. They are really tough. Mine were like out of the box. One I couldn't move at all. One I could barely move. So I disassembled it and cut the springs in half. That is right now one of the best options you got. It does make them softer, but they still pretty much hold pretty well. So just be aware of that. Other big problem, at least on mine, a lot of these pieces are kind of loose. On video it's been fine, but a couple as of yesterday, the tail back here was had a tendency to just kind of sag. It didn't want to hold in this position ever, which was really frustrating. The other thing on two other big problems on mine right here. This door has a tendency to just kind of flop open. I try to close it. You notice right there. It's not actually holding properly unless I really give it some good amount of force. Man, my camera is having a hard time right now. So that's the problem with mine. On this side, it's the connection's kind of, or the latch is kind of weak. So unfortunately, it doesn't want to hold properly, and that's a bit of a problem. It's really frustrating, actually. Also on mine, these side things, you see that I just pulled on it. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to hold pretty solidly. You're supposed to press the little button down at the bottom here to unlatch it. And quite frankly, and see, there it goes. This just undid itself. I have to like slam it like this to get it to hold. These just like to just come undone. So I'll try to be moving the hips and they'll be just undoing themselves. And it's really frustrating because no matter what I do, they never quite latch up properly. And it's a problem on both sides. So that's the thing. Trypticon here has a ton of little issues that kind of add up. The biggest one being the hips just tearing themselves apart, which you can fix, but you shouldn't have to fix it out of the box. And that's kind of a frustrating thing because he looks great. I mean, look at this guy. He's just an amazing robot dinosaur, and you can get him to pose. I mean, I got him standing upright, but you can also, you know, get him to pose in a more running position, and it will hold it just fine. His base mode looks great. His spaceship mode looks great. He comes a little deluxe class figure and everything. He's got actually quite a bit of posability, all things considered. The problem is he's just riddled with weird issues. The hips, the things not latching together properly. Again, just a lot of stuff just doesn't want to latch properly. He just kind of likes to, I guess, in a way, tear himself apart. So you move one thing and something else will move along with it that you don't want, and you spend the next 5 minutes constantly readjusting him until he you get him in the pose you want. And just the other thing is just for a lot of people, the other big problem is just he's huge. He takes up a massive footprint. I mean, comparatively, even to like Metroplex or Fort Max, I mean, those guys they're tall, yeah, but they don't take up the big footprint because this guy's got this massive tail as well. So he takes up this huge block of space. You can't fit him in a D-tall for sure. He's just too big for that. But yeah, the fact he just like all these things are super loose on mine and everything. I'm not sure if it's like that on everyone else's, but if that's the case, it's hard to recommend this guy, especially for $150. I mean, he looks great and all, but he has a tendency he doesn't hold together very well. And I mean, actually, in his spaceship and base modes, he actually is pretty solid for the most part. It's just in this dinosaur mode, he has a tendency to not hold together. I mean, once you get him in position, you just kind of have to leave him there. You don't want to really move him again because he'll just probably flop apart. And it's really frustrating because he looks great. It's just, I can't recommend him at $150. It's frustrating. It's like, this is one of those things, like, honestly, wait for him to drop in price, 100 or below. Even 100 is kind of pushing it. Because of his issues, unless they make some significant running changes, I mean, unless they do that, it's not going to work. And I would do a comparison with him, like Metroplex or whatever, but that's too much. I can't fit them in both in one shot. It's not going to work. I might be able to get a picture up on like my Twitter, but I ain't going to be able to get them in frame right now. It's just, they're too big. I'm not going to do that, unfortunately. But that's in general, though. Trypticon has just enough issues. I have to honestly say, don't spend $150 on him. I did, and it's kind of like, oh, that's a lot of little problems that I have to deal with, and it's really frustrating to deal with them. Wait for him to go on sale. That's my honest opinion. Wait for him to go on sale. I mean, recently Fort Max you were able to get him, if you were lucky, you'd get him for $40. If this guy goes on the same sort of discounts, yeah, definitely. 100 is a maybe. If you can find him for like, I don't know, 75 or less, definitely go for it. Especially if you're kind of, want someone to go up against Metroplex. But don't pay full price. Don't do what I did. Do not pay full price. He is just simply not worth it at this point. Yeah. Just wait on that. Just wait for a sale for this guy. Your patience will be rewarded in the sense that you won't have to spend so much money on this guy. He'll probably go cheap just because stores will be trying to clear him out just because he does take up a lot of room on the shelf. So yeah, that's my opinions on this guy. Wait for sales. He's cool looking. He doesn't hold together very well. So wait for the sale, a sale of some sort, wherever it is. Again, I say $75 is really the max you should be paying. Maybe $100 if you're really into Trypticon. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing, but that's just the breaks. I mean, so far the best Titan class figure we've gotten, honestly, in my opinion, is probably actually Devastator. So yeah, I mean, that's that, I guess. Trypticon, not worth full price. Wait for sales. So that's that for my opinion. I hope you enjoyed this review, as crazy and awkward as it got. I'm really sorry. It's really difficult to film something this bulky in my setup. So I hope I'll see you next time for my next review, whatever that is. I'm not sure what it is yet, but if you did like this, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I know standard fare, but please, it's really helpful. And yeah, this has been Titan's Returns Titan class Trypticon, and I hope you enjoyed.